Merry meet, everyone. Welcome to the Astro Update. I have got a lot of information that I do want to share with you. Oh wow, I can't even, this is going to be some intense energies, and I will say that December is only going to be a catalyst for what is to come. And I don't see this as really a bad thing. I see this as of change. This is where we're at. We are in change, right? So before I get into all of that today, if you do watch my little, the short videos that I put out, I did put out a little short video that, and a little writing that Neptune went direct today. He is in this home sign of Pisces. Now, when a planet is in its home sign, it will be very strong. It's very strong there. So the energy is more intense. Okay, so with him going direct, it's almost like some fog has been lifted from our brains. It's just, you know, how when you have allergy problems or you have like a head cold, how you feel foggy headed. Well, that is what Neptune retrograde can make us feel like we can't tell the difference between what is real and what is a fantasy or what is an illusion. So now, since he has changed directions and he's going into his direct motion, it seems that we all have been making those changes while he has been in retrograde. And, you know, this fog is going to slowly dissipate so we can have more a clearer vision of what is going on. And in this process, please know that there's going to be more truths revealed. Things that were mysterious or didn't make sense, those things will be, they will start to make sense. They will be, all the confusion and will be gone from that. So those mysteries will be revealed as well. Now, this Neptune will be direct in Pisces until June the 28th of 2022. We will begin that shadow period on March the 21st, which is usually the spring equinox is around that time. Sometimes it'll change between the 20th and 21st, but Ostara will be at that time. So we will be going into the shadow. Now, this Neptune in Pisces, one of the things that it will remind us is it's reminding us of our oneness. Now, I really want to break down the oneness. The oneness is not so much of I am just like you. Oneness means that we are all part of this web, this energy on Earth, meaning we are all living here. So, you know, everything we do will affect other people. And this is like a total, you know, Neptune and Pisces, this is like a total different realm here. This is very creative energy. You know, there's a lot of things that can be created from this because this gives us also the energy of no limits or no conditions. So it's kind of, this is the realm of dreams and of illusions. So you can see how we can get taken away by our dreams, or we can get taken or swept off our feet by an illusion that we might think that we see. Now, again, this is very high on the dreams, imagination, and it is unlimited possibilities. So if we're looking at it in a creative sense, this is really a good thing. But what we also have to remember when Neptune is in Pisces direct is that as we are creating, as we are working into our future, we have to understand others around us as well. So this needs to be for the the good of the majority, not just yourself. So this needs to be everyone, oneness. So these energies can feel quite subtle at times. Confusions and delusions. You know, you have to be careful. Don't be tricked into believing something that is not real. We really have to watch out for that. And one of the things I really want to highlight here is that this is also one of taking, of stepping up, you know, having a higher consciousness, higher levels of consciousness, higher learning. This is wanting us to step up. It is time to step up our game. So this is another energy shift. And yes, it's outside planets. So it will not happen to us as quickly as, say, Mercury, because it's closer to the Earth. So here we have to understand that we have to, you know, step up to that higher consciousness and step up to that higher thought, that higher being, the highest potential, as well as being well grounded into Earth and not forgetting who we are and where we come from. So I will say one of the great things here that we need to work on is, you know, because of the fact that these limits are kind of non-existent, there's no real boundaries, we may be having to find ourselves having to set those boundaries, especially, I mean, as we're going into, you know, we just got finished with one holiday and we're going into more holiday seasons of more get-togethers, and I will say use discernment on what you talk to people about. Be very careful. Not everyone. People always get offended when I say, don't cast your pearls before swine. And it's not an insult to people per se. It's saying that, you know, don't waste your energy on people that are not going to appreciate it. Planting a seed is one thing, but wasting your energy on stuff that's just, it's just ridiculous. It's just futile. Don't do that. You know, set your boundaries, use discernment big time. You know, there's many people that like to argue. They love that drama in their life. And you know what? Just let that clown have the circus, okay? So that is happening today. Today is the 1st of December. We have a lot of other things coming up, and I did make a list as I did not want to forget anything. We do have a few things coming up too that's really going to add to this energy. We have Venus on the 19th is going to be moving, is going to be going retrograde. So in Capricorn, she is going to, let's see here. At that time, and then let's see here, it's on the 13th she is actually going to be moving into the sign Capricorn, and on the 19th she is going to be going retrograde. She is also going to be coming to a conjunction, meaning that she is going to meet up with Pluto. Now this, guys, here we go, because also on the 13th, Mars is going to be moving into Sagittarius. So, oh wow. So for the next 3 months, I will say, there's going to be a lot of changes. Now, when we have Venus conjunct Pluto in Capricorn, this is manipulative energy. It is controlling energy. It's propaganda. It's scandalous. It's abuse of power. So, and both of these signs deal with wealth. So, you know, I feel like there's going to be these changes within, a massive change within our material world. I really do. As far as you know, as far as our material world, there's going to be a lot, our money. We may see some stocks happen and other things. There's going to be shipping, you know, they're talking about that. There's some bills that are trying to get signed in that has to do with a few things that will really mess with, will really get into our country. And I do feel that from all of this, from the money issues, from this controlling big type of unstable energy here, I do feel that this is going to create some more civil unrest, and we really, it's really going to be hard to kind of keep it all calmed down. Now, I'm going to do a whole different video about that. I don't want to get too lost in that because we are having a new moon this Saturday on December the 4th, and it's at 2, let me see here. It's early in the morning, so some of you will have that on the 3rd, maybe. It'll be at 2:43 a.m. Eastern Time. And that new moon will be in Sagittarius. For those in the Vedic, I am doing the Western astrology, but for Vedic, it's going to be in Scorpio. And I do like to consider that because of where this is all taking place. This month, there's going to be a lot of big energy happening. There's a lot of planets that are lined up in Sagittarius, and all you can see is those arrows pointing and pointing. So, yeah, this is going to be some big energy. This is going to be almost like it's like a big fire, a big bang kind of thing. And then through January, through March of next year, it's going to be very, very intense. Collective energies. Well, you know, around the world, the collective energy, we're going to have fear that's going to be pushed more because Pluto is still in this mix and everything that's going on. The the United States of America, is having its Pluto return, and it's going to becoming more exact this month. So it will become more felt in the United States with Pluto in Capricorn. This is going to deal with our material. It's going to deal with our politics. It's going to deal with all of those places of power. And again, we're going to have to really, we will be able to see the power plays that's going to go on. There's going to be more power plays that's going to happen. So, remember that things will not happen, you know, overnight. Remember these things that are going on, it's going to take time. We live in this world of instant gratification, instantaneous things. And, you know, we fail to understand that there is a process for how things are done. It's kind of like a flower. It has to open up one petal at a time. So we have to understand that life is like that too. Things have to open up. We can't force things. We do have a lot of crazy type energy coming in. And this again, this is going to play over for the next few months. Please know that we are in the beginning of a new age, and we are in the beginning of changes. We are in the ending of cycles and the beginning of another. And we have to understand that's astrology. Astrology is about cycles. Everything, you know, our world is about cycles. It happens in seasons and cycles. So we, you know, life it's circular. You know, many people want to see life as linear, and it's not. Jupiter is going to be really big in this as well. Jupiter, its sign is Sagittarius, and this has been in the sign of Sagittarius has been the South Node, which deals with our past. Remember, like I said before, our South Node is where we have been, and our North Node is where we are going. So our South Node is about releasing karma. So there is a lot of karma that can be released this time. Especially, and I see a lot of people really thinking about their morality, thinking about their values in a different way. Maybe those have changed. Maybe you value more things now than you used to. Maybe you have a different outlook on things. Jupiter, the planet, you know, everybody. Well, those of you who know mythology, you will say, oh, Jupiter, he's a joyous god. You know, he is all about, you know, he's about, more. He's about expansion, but he is also about excess. And, you know, it would behoove us to understand moderation, especially when we have Neptune and Pisces as well, where there's no limits. Again, boundaries are good. Boundaries protect me from you and you from me. So let's talk a little bit about Sagittarius, like Jupiter. Jupiter's expansion. He's a magnifier, and he likes to make things bigger than what they are. And Sagittarius, it rules education and higher education, to be exact. It's very adventurous, and it's very futuristic. So if things have not been coming up in your life, it should be by now, like some of the things that you would need to release, some of the karma that you would need to let go of. And the North Node in Gemini, this is about thinking for yourself. Sagittarius, the opposite of Sagittarius is Gemini. And when the South Node is in Sagittarius, well, the North Node is in Gemini. And Gemini is, it's very mental, and it's about thinking for yourself and thinking independently. It's about truth. It really is. And Sagittarius is about truth as well. Sagittarius wants the complete truth about everything, and they're willing to research and do what they need to do in order to get that out there. And Gemini is like that too. It wants the truth. It's independent thought. It's not the collective thought. It is, I'm going to make these decisions for myself and what is good for myself. Not what you want me to think, but what I want to think. And it is about right here and right now. So with the South Node in Sagittarius, we can see the releasing of old political views, old religious views, because Sagittarius is also about philosophy and that field. And honestly, it seems like we're coming full circle with a lot of things. There's a lot of karmic release that's happening, and a lot of it should happen. The new moon solar eclipse that we're coming up to is really asking us, how has our beliefs changed? And are these our beliefs, or are they something that we were told to believe? Now, let's get all the way back, and we'll talk about some more exact stuff that is happening and get deeper into this, because there's a lot of stuff that's connecting us to past events that's coming, full circle. We are at the end of cycles here. And this is very, very important, because we are fixing to go into, new cycles. When one ends, well, a new one begins. And in doing this, we have to really work on ourselves and make sure that we know where we're going. And the astrology has been telling us that all along. It's been telling us to, what are your values? What are your thoughts? Think for yourself, that sort of thing. Now, the new moon in Sagittarius will be at 2:43 a.m. Eastern Time on December the 4th. For some of you, it might be happening on the 3rd. If you're not in the Eastern Time Zone, I would suggest you look that up for a more accurate time for you. And we will also have a solar eclipse that day. That is the last eclipse this year. And this is the last one in the Sagittarius and Gemini cycle that we've had. These cycles last anywhere from 18 to 19 years. And the last time that this happened was late October of 2001, and it lasts until April of 2003. So if you look back from October 2001, April of 2003, you can look back at that time and you can see what insights that you have gained from that time. How are you different? What has changed? How has your belief changed? It's an end of a cycle, like I said. And this also goes back, it connects us to 1983 to 1984. For from you that were adults at that time, you can remember what was going on, and you can connect back to that as well. Again, cycles. I think that when we are looking back at these times, it can really help us gain some insight, because, Sagittarius and Gemini, this is about communication, and it's communication of the higher mind. So it's really wanting us to see where we have grown. Each transit that we have is about, it's about taking us so we can further understand our spiritual development, see our spiritual growth. It's a progress of our spiritual path, see where we are. So in saying that, as we come out of this cycle of the Sagittarius Gemini cycle, we are going into the Taurus and Scorpio cycle. So that is going to connect us back to April of 2003 to December 2004, and before that, September 84 to April 86. So we are coming into this Taurus Scorpio cycle of eclipses, which is going to bring a lot of change as well. So for this new moon, this is going to be one blast of energy. Like I said, if you look at that chart, you're going to see all of those arrows pointing and ready to fire. It's going to be very close to Mercury, which is connected to Gemini. And it's going to back the energy of communication. There's communications that can be... the way we communicate can be changed. So what lessons have we learned from our past, especially about communication? And how can we change our communication to make it better? What can we do to our communication in order to communicate to others better, to be clearer? So the next time that the Sagittarius and Gemini cycle will come around will be around 2039. So, like I said, they have anywhere between 18, 19-year cycle. And communication is really going to be heightened. Sagittarius is about expanding our horizons, and it's wanting us to learn more, especially this, Sagittarius is about foreign cultures and foreign, learning from those foreign cultures, and learning foreign languages, ways, stuff like that. It's expanding knowledge. And expanding knowledge is really important because I was reading something, and I'm trying to think of what I was reading, but it was talking about the education system that we have in the United States. The education system that we have in the United States is basically preparing one to be in the workforce, and that's it. It's preparing one to be complete in the workforce and basically a slave to the machine, so to speak. I know that's so cliche right now, but is being a slave to the machine. And with this, we're having to look back and see how some things, especially with Pluto and Capricorn, we're really having to let go some of those old, toxic, outdated ways. Again, we're going to have to be careful, because I do see where communication is going to try to be clear, and free communication is going to try to be stepped on. With what's going on with Venus and Capricorn and Pluto. Remember, I talked about manipulation. It's really bad. It is like controlled manipulation. It's doing it purposeful. Now, with I do see that, especially by the winter solstice, there's going to be, we will have some light shed on some of the shadows. Now, this is also going to be trining Chiron. Chiron is that wounded healer, and Chiron is in Aries, and this is about healing the self. So, yeah, there's some deep healing that can happen through this. And it's about leaving the past behind, with the South Node, how it's been and where it's been located. This is really telling us that we have to end some of this karmic stuff that has just been washing up over time. And yes, it has been dredging. Scorpio loves to dig up the secrets and loves to bring out all the skeletons in the closet. But at the same time, we have to be smart about it. We have to be conscious about things. We can't go off in left field with no boundaries and none whatsoever, or go off in right field where everything is so placed into this box. Only these people can do that. Only those people can do that. That's toxic. That is really toxic. That's division. And that goes into, it's negative. It's negative to divide the humans, because we are all humans and we're humans. And that's what we need to concentrate on, is our humanness. And with that humanness comes compassion. So it seems like there's a lot of people from this position, trining Chiron, it seems like there's a lot of people that has been holding on to things from the past. I saw a little thing yesterday. It was one of those little meme pictures. It said, in life, you can either get better or get bitter. And bitterness is unhealed. Bitterness is an unhealed soul. It is one that has not taken the time to dive deep into their shadow, into themselves, and figure it out. Jealousy comes to mind, being jealous of of siblings, of other people that have done so much in their life, and being jealous of them because, well, they have that and you don't. Well, they're a different person than you, number one. And number two, you could have had anything you wanted. You just chose not to. And many times we say, oh, I just didn't have a choice. You always have a choice. Always have a choice. And that is about being what? Self-responsible, taking responsibility for yourself and your actions, and living a conscious life, making those conscious decisions. So I do feel that there is, this past event, past whatever, that a lot of people they've been hanging on to something that really impacted them, really traumatized them from their past. And it is time to let that go. It feels like there's going to be an understanding. It's like, oh, I get it now. I get why this had to happen. Oh, okay. And you're going to be able to release yourself from that, from what you've been carrying around, because it is past time to let it go. We could have a little bit of setbacks because of the involvement of Uranus. This is connected to Uranus too, but these setbacks are reminding us that there's something bigger here, and that we have to let things play out. We have to let that flower bloom on its own. And also, if things keep popping up for you, if you keep seeing like numbers, if you keep seeing certain numbers, certain animals over and over, you need to look at that and figure out why. If you keep having these events that happen over and over, you keep having these words you see, you keep having these numbers, an animal, something, you keep having a dream, something. If something it keeps popping up to you, it is now time to really, really, really find out what that is. We could have some, excuse me, because of Uranus's involvement, we could have a little bit of nervous energy. We could have some things popping up for us that was unexpected, that we're having to deal with. But I do feel that if we truly go into this conscious, that we can learn a lot from this, and we can also have some healing that will allow us to let go of some of that past stuff that we have been hanging on to. And I want to talk about Saturn really quick. Everybody seems to not like Saturn, but Saturn is referred to as the parent. And parents are needed for children, to keep them from jumping off cliffs, to keep them, from killing themselves, literally. So, it wants the best for you. It actually does. But, that can frustrate us. But we have to understand that there is a method here. There is something that's coming about. There's something blooming. The solar eclipse will aspect Mercury, Saturn, and Uranus. And Saturn is reminding us of the long term, of what are we going to do in the long term. Everything's great for right here and now, but what about 5 years? What about 2 years? What about 10 years? What about 20 years? And so forth. And it's like Saturn's like, wait a minute, let's ground this energy out. Let's think about this. Now, solar eclipses are more powerful as the moon, a reflection, darkens the sun. And this is going to, it darkens the sun's identity. So let's think about that a little bit. As this moon darkens the sun, it is a moment of stillness. Our ancient ancestors thought that this was an unlucky time. I have my own. I will say that eclipses bring changes, And these eclipses, if change needs to happen in your life and you're not looking at it and you refuse to look at it, it'll help you out. That will be the whole the sun solar eclipse will actually really help you make those changes for you. This is going to be a big burst of energy. So, you know, and it's one where there's a lot of possibilities. There's all possibilities on the table, and it is very much time to plan for the future. Again, not only next week, not only next month, or, you know, 5 months from now, but I'm talking about in the future, the next year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and so forth. This can also, through here, I do feel there's going to be an emotional balance that's going to come from this. And I think that this emotional balance is really going to help us see the clarity that we are being gifted with today with Uranus going direct. Saturn will have a square with, I'm sorry, that was Neptune going direct, not Uranus. With Neptune going direct, there's a lot of, there's a shift there, bringing a good balance. So I do feel like this is a time that advancements could happen through here. But I will say it's going to be one for hard work, because Saturn loves hard work. Now, Saturn will square Uranus, and it will be exact on Christmas Eve, the December 24th. So it is coming up. That's when it will be exact, but it's lining up right now. So we can feel this energy, and it can give us that restrictive energy. When you see Saturn and Uranus, these are very opposite. Saturn is about boundaries, and Uranus is the original rebel coming in to shake everything up. So this can come up on us quickly, and this energy is building right now, so pay attention. When I'm looking at the chart, you know, we see these reds and different colors. Well, a square is a red, that's conflict, and we're seeing conflict, striving for solutions, which is your green, and your blue would be that harmony energy that they're feeling, which would be like a trine. Okay, so this is saying to us that this is a big learning time. It is a time that we will be gaining a new point of view, a different point of view. And I can see there's a lot of things that will be breaking new ground coming from this. This is some energy that is really ready to go. So I want to discuss this a little bit, because as I was saying when I was talking about the new moon earlier, as in Western astrology it's in Sagittarius, and with the Vedic it's in Scorpio, I want to reiterate on that a little bit. This new moon in Sagittarius is actually going to be taking place in the constellation of Scorpio. Now, this is due to the precession of the equinoxes. So, because of this precession, it moved the sun signs almost a whole sign out of alignment. If you want to find, there's tons of information out there regarding this. You can look this up, but for Western astrology, I stick with that at the time, because a lot of people, especially in the U.S., understand that. So again, this is these constellations were named, 2,000 years ago. So plus, so, things change. When we go back to the year 2012, when everybody was talking about the end of the Mayan calendar, well, we did have a shift. When all of those planets did an alignment, we actually shifted to be on the other side of the Milky Way. So yeah, there is things that change. We just don't realize it because we're not looking up as much as we used to. Our ancient ancestors looked up all the time. they knew these times would happen by the stars in the sky. I talked about Pleiades the other day, and how Pleiades is so connected to all of the indigenous people. They believe the star people came from there, that, we came from there. And it is only a certain time of year when the Pleiades rises at a certain time. So from the time of October to April, that is when you can see the Pleiades rise. So you can go check that out. I did a writing about that. I think I did a video about that. I'm not really sure. If I didn't, I will do a video about that and explain more on Pisces. I know I did, and I did that for my students, but I'm not really sure if I did that for everybody. But anyway, so this energy will, like I said, it's going to be more powerful because of where this is all taking place at. And it will last longer than a regular new moon because it is carrying that energy of a solar eclipse, and it is a total solar eclipse. So we are definitely needing to make some long-range changes. We have done a lot of work this year, and it's time to complete cycles. It's time to break free of karma. It is time to let go of the past and toxic stuff, some old karmic cycles, and it's time to open up to some new energy. There's a higher understanding that Sagittarius is trying to give us, and we have to close the past so we can open ourselves up to the future. And that's one thing that many people, they don't really understand. And I think it's because of how a lot of the spiritual and religious teachings are in our world nowadays. They don't teach what is actually real in order for us to live. A lot of them do not. So, releasing the karmic cycles and opening up to a new energy is something that a lot of people are afraid of. They like the same old, same old. The consistency, it has everybody in their comfort zone. Well, the problem is that when everybody is in their comfort zone and they're over here hanging out where it's fun, there's all this other stuff that's going on that's getting messed up and askewed. So we have to step up and we have to go take care of that. Higher understanding is what Sagittarius is. It's a big gift to us. Sagittarius wants us to have that higher understanding, to have that higher knowledge, and it wants us to close that part of the past, to open to the future, and to be able to change some of these timelines. I know that sounds really crazy, but when you're shifting energies and when you're shifting and changing and you're letting go of the past and you're opening up to the future, you can shift that timeline. You can. And it's, it would behoove us to move through this easy. So there's going to be many areas of new growth. There's going to be the feeling of freedom and a renewal of faith. And a lot of people, they have faith in things. Many people don't. And it's really sad to see how things have fallen and how things have, how people have lost hope and faith in their life. This moon and eclipse is going to be supporting new pathways for us to find. It's a pureness. It's almost like, the fire, how wildfire just spreads across and it just consumes everything. And it's almost like we're having this, this pureness we've got this new chance here, this new pathway of openness. So, we have to be really careful here. What are we calling what are we calling for? What are we trying to create that's going to affect our future? So there is a loosening up of energy that's taken place. And it's almost like, you know how things have been wound so tight? You know how when you're sitting on a swing, you can make yourself go around and around and you're twisting the chain? Well, now it's like it's unwinding and it's opening up, I should say. We can feel a little bit release of some of the constraints that we have felt. Sagittarius helps us see and understand things on a deeper level. It's wanting us to learn from our life experiences. So, and those things that have formed you, you know, what have the experiences that you've had in your life, how have they formed your life now? How about your values, your beliefs? You know, labels. I get this, you know, I've been hearing labels a lot, and I did do a video on limited identity, because this is this limited identity. You know, we come into the world, we are programmed in some way or another. We are conditioned that this is how we eat, this is how we believe, this is what we think, that sort of thing. And, you know, neither good nor bad. I'm not judging that. I'm just saying that is how it has been. And now we are looking at it and we're saying, wait a minute, what are my beliefs? Because, you know, when I was younger, it was all about don't label me, don't put a label on me. I'm everything and nothing at the same time. And nowadays, it's like everybody wants a label. And when you put a label on yourself, so strict as some of these people do, you are boxing yourself in. And you are preventing yourself from growth. This is limited identity. If you are born in a small town and you did the same things that your parents done, your great-grandparents done, you stay in that path, that is a limited identity. Again, neither good nor bad. What I'm saying here is limited identity can prevent us from expansion, from growing and doing what we are here to do, which is to have our human experience. So, we're going to be looking at self-worth, that, you know, how were you taught to look at self-worth? What were you taught to believe? You know, and this is where we have to really get real with ourselves, because we are bigger than what we were taught to think. We don't have to be held down. The separations of peoples, it's time to let that go. It's time, the belief systems that want the division, that want that separation, it is time to let that go. We are humans, we are humanness, and we have to understand that oneness. I am not saying that everybody has to be the same. That would be an absolutely boring world. Everybody has their certain gifts. Everybody has their certain talents. And those need to be honed. Those need to be respected. But we also have to understand that we are here together and we're here on this planet. But this is going to be opening us up to something better. And I feel there's a lot of new soul experiences that are coming, new ways to go forward. And, you know, it's just endings and beginnings, like I said. So for the next 2 or 3 months, there's going to be a lot of change. There's going to be, I do feel that because this is hitting because Pluto, all of this is hitting the United States in its Pluto return, we could see some things politically change. I won't go into that much, but I can see some political things changing, and I do see a lot of it's like people seeing what has been hidden, and people learning to have thought, to have their individual thought process honored. Being able to communicate freely is very important. So yeah, there is a lot of stuff going on with this new moon. I will say that allow this is a really good time for beginning. This is really, really good energy, creative energy. It is really one where you can end some past suffering that you have held on to for a very, very long time, and to be able to release it, farewell it, let it be on its way, and you open yourself up to newness. This is a new moon. This is a new start. And we have a solar eclipse. So we have the ending of one thing and a beginning of another. And, a lot of people think differently about this. Again, our ancient peoples did not care for the eclipses, but I will say that this is one that is really, really going to be a big bang. And be careful, guys. I do see a lot more of with Venus and Pluto. I will do a video on that, especially when it has communication. Communication is all ways of communication. I do see that trying to be manipulated, trying to control the masses with that, using language that you understand against you, if that makes sense. So I'm going to let it go with that. Just wanted to give you an update on what is going on. This is going to be a lot of intense energy. It's going to be energy for change that is greatly needed. Beliefs, morals, everything. We need to really, really look at it, and we need to understand, be reminded of our oneness. Sure, we're all different, and that's great, but we're all humans, and we need to understand that. It's time to be more of a higher intelligence instead of a lower intelligence. We need to step up our game. We need to stop trying to separate ourselves from each other from different ways, and to get together and to actually socialize and do those things that humans are supposed to be doing. So I wish you all a wonderful new moon, and I wish you the brightest of blessings, and I'll see you next time.